All right, so you want to be like the best charity board member you could be, right?
Obviously.
And, there's a lot to know.
Yeah.
So you found this annual checklist for a charity board of directors, and we're going to kind of dig into it and see what we can pull out of it.
Sounds good.
The first section is overseeing the executive director.
Oh, yeah. That's a big one.
So how do we keep the executive director accountable without, micromanaging?
Well, I mean, that's the thing, right? It's all about accountability, but not, breathing down their neck all the time. The checklist mentions like regular performance reviews and giving updates during the meetings.
Right.
But, it's almost like how they interact day to day.
Yeah.
How do they communicate challenges, and are they proactively like keeping the board informed?
So it's less about the formal reviews and more about just like that open communication and that relationship.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where you can really kind of tell if things are on track or not.
Mm-hmm.
Like a really good executive director is going to be transparent about the tough stuff, and passionate about the cause and inspire the team, that kind of thing.
So what are some red flags then? What should we look for?
Oh, if reports are constantly late, or if there's like no clear vision, or even like low staff morale, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
That might be a sign that something's up.
That's a good point.
Mm.
Okay, so moving on to making key decisions.
Ooh, decisions.
That's where the board really, holds the power.
Yeah.
We're talking selecting officers, hiring or firing the executive director, approving major purchases.
Yeah.
The really big, important stuff.
Yeah, the big bucks.
Yeah. So how can a board member make sure they're making like an informed decision, especially when you're talking about financial matters that can get complicated?
Yeah, well, the checklist actually says that you should probably consult a CPA Canada guy
Oh, interesting.
to help understand the financial statements, which,
Not
sounds
that exciting.
not thrilling, but it's crucial.
It is important, yeah. Because
Yeah.
you need to understand that stuff before you approve the budget or,
Absolutely.
Which
It's
way-
about protecting the charity's assets, but also building trust with donors,
Right.
showing that their money's being managed responsibly.
It makes sense. All right, let's talk about record keeping.
Oh, yeah.
Record keeping, the unsung hero, as they say,
It is kind of the unsung hero, isn't it?
because it's not the most glamorous topic,
No, but super important.
but it is really important.
Yeah.
So this is all about transparency and accountability, right?
Yeah, and they list a whole bunch of key documents in the checklist. It's like your letters, patent, bylaws, meeting minutes,
Okay.
registers for directors and members' contracts, and supporting documentation, like
A lot.
all that good stuff.
So basically what they're saying is you need a clear, auditable trail of basically everything that's happening at the charity.
Well, yeah, because imagine you're getting audited, and there's a question about like a specific decision or something. Good records are your best defense. They show that you are doing everything above board and transparently.
So it's not just about checking a box. It's actually about protecting the charity.
Yeah, for the long term.
Okay, so let's talk about financial stewardship. The checklist emphasizes the board's role in approving financial statements and developing that annual budget.
Right.
I'm guessing this all ties back to that fiduciary responsibility we were talking about.
Oh, for sure. It does. But it's more than just like signing off on the numbers.
Yeah.
You really need to understand what that story is behind the numbers.
Yeah.
What are the biggest expenses? Are there any red flags?
Right.
Are you actually on track to meet your fundraising goals?
So it's about asking the right questions,
Yeah, exactly.
making sure everything aligns with the mission and the goals.
Yeah. And you have to be able to explain that to the charity's members, too.
Oh, yeah.
They need to see that their money is being used wisely.
Transparency is key.
Always is.
All right, last one for this section. We're going to talk about building a strong board.
Okay. Team building.
So this is all about, assembling that perfect team
Yeah.
and making sure that everybody is, up to speed.
Yeah. And, a lot of people just focus on the fundraising,
Right.
which is important, of course. But building a strong board is like the foundation for everything else.
It is.
You need the right mix of skills, experience, passion, that kind of thing.
So the checklist mentions having enough directors to share the workload effectively.
Right.
But it's not just about numbers, right?
No, it's about having people with the right expertise.
Yeah.
You need people who understand finances, legal matters, fundraising, marketing, and the actual area of work the charity does.
Yeah.
The more diverse the board, the better the decisions.
And they also talk about training, which I think is a good point
Yes.
for new directors. And then ongoing training as well.
Keeping everybody up to date.
Yeah, because things change, right?
Mm.
Laws change. Best practices change.
Oh, yeah.
So it's important to keep learning. So it's not just about finding passionate people. It's about finding people who are willing to put in the time and the work to really understand how this all works.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
All right, so before we move on to the next section,
Hmm.
I want to ask you, the listener, something to think about.
Oh, good.
If you were putting together a charity board, what skills or expertise would you prioritize? And what kind of training would you consider absolutely essential?
Think about that for a second. We'll be right back to dive into some more of these checklist essentials.
Welcome back. We're still working our way through this annual checklist for Charity Board of Directors, and I'm starting to see how it all kind of fits together.
It's all connected.
Like you were saying earlier, it's about building a culture of everybody knows what their role is, everybody feels empowered,
Exactly.
and it's all for the greater good of the charity.
Yeah, working together as a team.
Okay, so let's talk about communication.
All right.
This section is called Communication is Key.
Love that title.
And it talks about the annual report, which I always thought was kind of like just a formality.
Oh, no, it's a big deal.
But it's actually like a really powerful tool.
Think of it as your chance to shine. Highlight your accomplishments. Explain how you used all those donations, update members on the impact the charity is making.
Okay.
It's all about building trust.
Yeah, that makes sense. And they also talk about the annual general meeting,
Oh, yeah.
where the board reports to the members, they hold elections. They kind of set the direction for the year ahead.
That's where everybody gets together. And it's really important to make sure the members feel like they're part of the process.
Yeah, like they're engaged.
Yeah, they can ask questions, give feedback, that kind of thing.
Makes them feel involved. Okay, this next section is called Risk Management, Thinking Ahead. And I got to say, this one makes me a little nervous.
I know nobody wants to think about bad stuff happening.
Right.
But it's important to be prepared,
Okay, so the checklist talks about regularly reviewing financial records, which makes sense. Got to watch out for those red flags.
Of course, got to keep an eye on the money.
But what else can a board do to prevent bad stuff from happening?
Well, a formal risk management policy is a really good place to start.
Okay.
It basically outlines the types of risks the charity might face, how you assess them, and what steps you can take to minimize the damage.
So it's like a plan.
Yeah, like a roadmap for dealing with potential problems.
Okay. And of course, you got to have good insurance too, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You got to have that safety net, just in case.
Just in case.
Yeah.
All right. So this is all about being proactive and anticipating challenges and having a plan in place.
You got it.
Okay, so we've talked about overseeing the executive director, making decisions, managing risks. But what about fundraising?
Yes,
The lifeblood of any charity.
That is.
So what's the board's role in all that?
Well, they play a really important role, even if they're not out there shaking the donation bucket themselves.
So what should they be focused on?
It's all about strategy and oversight. They need to figure out the funding priorities, identify potential sources, set realistic goals, and make sure that all the fundraising activities are aligned with the charity's mission.
That makes sense.
And, of course, they need to make sure all the money is being used responsibly.
Right. Build that trust with the donors.
Exactly.
Now, the checklist specifically mentions special events.
Oh, the parties.
Which can be fun.
They are fun.
But are they always an effective way to raise money?
Well, they can be a great way to raise awareness, engage the community, generate some excitement.
Yeah.
But they can also be very time-consuming and expensive.
Yeah.
So you got to be strategic about it.
So you can't just throw a party and hope for the best.
Well, you can, but you probably shouldn't.
So the board needs to really weigh the pros and cons.
Yeah, think about the return on investment, both financially and in terms of other benefits.
So did we meet our fundraising goals? Did we reach new people? Did we strengthen relationships with existing donors?
Those are all great questions.
So it's like with everything else we've talked about. You need a plan. You need goals. You need to track your progress.
Measurement is key.
All right, before we move on, I want to ask you, the listener, a question.
Hit me.
Have you ever been involved in fundraising for a charity? What are your thoughts on special events?
Give that some thought. We're going to tackle a topic that's a little bit intimidating next.
Yeah.
It's legal compliance.
We're back, and I'm telling you, this annual checklist for Charity Board of Directors has been a real eye-opener.
It's amazing how much goes into being on a board.
Yeah, we've talked about finances and risk and leadership and even, parties.
Parties are important.
They are important. But now we got to get serious for a second.
Okay, getting down to business.
Yeah, and talk about legal compliance.
Ooh, the scary stuff.
Which I know can be intimidating.
It can be.
So the checklist mentions things like charitable registration and tax filings and fundraising regulations and privacy laws.
Right.
It's a lot to keep track of.
It is a lot, especially if you're not a lawyer.
Exactly. So how can a board make sure they're doing everything right, legally speaking?
Well, the first step is recognizing that legal compliance is everyone's responsibility.
Okay.
It's not just for the lawyer on the board, if there even is one.
Right.
So the checklist recommends having like a designated compliance officer or maybe a whole committee
Okay.
whose job is to stay informed about all the relevant laws and regulations.
So like a point person.
Yeah, exactly. Someone who keeps an eye on things and makes sure the board is up to date.
Makes sense.
Okay.
And it's also about having good policies in place.
Right. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Like a conflict of interest policy can help prevent situations where, someone's personal interests could influence their decisions.
Right. You got to keep everything above board.
Transparency is key.
So all this legal stuff can get pretty confusing, though.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Are there resources that can help boards navigate all this complexity?
Oh, absolutely. There are lots of legal experts who specialize in charity law. They can provide guidance and training to boards.
Mm-hmm.
And there are tons of online resources and publications from like government agencies and charity watchdog organizations.
Okay, so don't be afraid to ask for help.
Never be afraid to ask for help.
All right, so we've got the legal stuff figured out,
Mm-hmm.
but there's one more thing we need to talk about, and that's evaluation.
Ah, yes, checking in with yourself.
Exactly. It's about continuous improvement.
Always striving to be better.
So how does a charity board actually go about evaluating its own performance?
Well, it's about taking a step back and asking some tough questions.
Like what?
Like, are we actually achieving our goals? Are we making a real difference? Are we fulfilling our responsibilities? All that good stuff.
So it's about holding ourselves accountable.
Yeah, and not just assuming that we're doing a good job because we have good intentions.
Right. Good intentions aren't enough.
Not always. The checklist recommends conducting regular self-assessments, maybe even bringing in an outside facilitator to get a fresh perspective.
Interesting.
And it's not just about the board itself. It's about getting feedback from stakeholders, too.
Oh, yeah, like the staff and the volunteers.
Exactly.
Okay.
Even the people the charity serves.
Right, because they're the ones who are actually experiencing the impact.
Exactly.
So it's about being open to feedback and using it to grow and improve.
And that's what sets a truly great board apart. That commitment to always getting better.
Well, I have to say, this has been a really insightful conversation.
It has been fun.
It has been fun. We've covered so much ground today.
So much.
And I think this checklist has really given us a better understanding of what it takes to be an effective charity board member.
Absolutely.
It's a big responsibility, but it's also incredibly rewarding.
You're making a difference in the world.
And I hope our listeners feel inspired to step up and take on that challenge.
I hope so, too.
So that's a wrap on this episode of The Deep Dive. We hope you enjoyed our exploration of the annual checklist for Charity Board of Directors.
Thanks for listening.
Until next time, stay curious.